Hello everyone, I'm Maniha, a PhD researcher at University of Hull. Today with me is a student who is working on a research project, and she's going to introduce herself now, and then we're going to talk about her research project.
Thank you so much. Hi everyone, my name is Juliet. I'm an international student and I work on a project titled Artist Classification with Explainable AI, and I'm here to talk about my project and take you through the journey of my project, the challenges I faced and how I was able to overcome it, and my findings and general summary from what I was able to get from my project. Thank you.
So what inspired you to choose your project? First introduce your project and then tell the inspiration of choosing your project.
Alright, like I said earlier on, my project is titled Artist Classification with Explainable AI, and then what I did is classifying artwork by the artist and then integrating it with Explainable AI. And what actually inspired me to actually work on this project was actually my daughter. So I actually bought her an artwork, and then when I gave her the artwork, she was like, my mommy, she finally called me. Mommy, who is the owner of this artwork? So I was just shocked because I didn't really know what to say, and I didn't want to like form my hand because I was like, what am I going to do? So what I did was that I turned to my LLM model, ChatGPT, and then I snapped the image and then put the image on LLM, and then within seconds, like not even within hours, just within seconds, I was able to get the result that this artwork belonged to Vincent Van Gogh. Then I was like, wow, that's nice. And I told her, this artist belongs to Vincent Van Gogh. Then she was like, Mommy, how come so fast? How were you able to like get the result on time? But because at that moment, I didn't have an explanation. So I was just like, let's just talk about something else. Yeah. So at that moment, I was actually like, I was actually eager to actually know like, how come this LLM model was able to like know that this artwork actually belonged to Vincent Van Gogh? Like, yeah, so that's where the explainability comes in. So I'm actually inspired by art and technology, especially the need for explainability, because the LLM model can actually like give me the answer on time, but it could actually not give me the reason why. It could give me the name, it could classify the image, but it could not reveal the story behind it. So I was actually like inspired to work on the project that, oh yeah, I actually want to learn about explainability, because I can see that accuracy can classify the image, but the explainability will actually reveal the story behind it. And then when we look at deep learning model have actually shown strong performance when it comes to image classification, but their black box nature have actually restricted them from using them for like sensitive and important field like art, where transparency and accountability is very important. And when we say deep learning model are black box, they're actually black box because their internal decision-making process are hidden, they are complex, and then they are actually hard to understand or even to interpret without specialized tool. And that is what actually inspired me to work on this project, by exploring explainability and explainable AI to actually like explain what the model prediction is, not just about the model giving me a good result, or not just about it having an accurate result or maybe classifying the artwork accurately, but about explaining the reason why we have a particular prediction. So yeah, the accuracy will give me a name, but explainability will actually reveal the story behind it. So that was what actually inspired me to work on this project.
That's a very detailed answer. Thank you very much for providing the insights.
You're welcome.
So just to be a bit more technical about it, which particular LLM you decided to work on and why?
Okay, so the model that I actually work on, I actually use 6 pre-trained model, 6 pre-trained convolutional neural network model, and they are ResNet 50, BGG 19. I use Inception, I use Exception, I use MobileNet, and then I also use DenseNet. And then the reason why I actually chose this 6 pre-trained model is actually because they are known for their strong performance in image classification, and then also because of their suitability for transfer learning in learning artistic styles. So that was actually one of the techniques that I use in my project. That's for the model. Then also in assessing my model, because yeah, I have the model is working, but I actually need to also assess the model performance. So what I actually use in assessing my model performance, I use Recall, I use accuracy, I use precision, I use F1 score. And the reason why I actually use these metrics is because they actually offer insight into different facets of of the model performance. And then when it comes to the explainable AI technique that I actually use, I use my LAM and SHARP. And LAM is local interpretable model agnostic explanation, while SHARP is sharply additive explanation. And then the reason why I use LAM and SHARP out of many explainable AI techniques is because they are actually like the widely used recognized model agnostic explainable AI techniques that actually offer insight into the contribution of each feature to a given prediction. So that's the reason why I actually choose LAM and SHARP. And then in order to ensure that my LAM and SHARP is actually working very well, I made use of consistency and fidelity to actually measure the effectiveness of my LAM and SHARP. And then on a granular level, to actually assess my model performance, I examine true positive, true positive, false negative, true negative, and false negative to actually like see more insights and then to see how the model perform under different classification scenarios. So these are some of the techniques that I actually use in my projects.
Another detailed answer. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So just since you mentioned details about your methodology, would you manage to do a comparative analysis of all of these models, and did you reach to a conclusion like which one was performing better? And any insight why is this performing better than other? Especially when you talk about explainability techniques, LAM and SHARP, what do you suggest which people should use in projects like these?
All right, thank you so much for that question. So what I did at the initial stage was I trained all my model. Like I said, I used 6 models, 6 pre-trained CNN models. So I trained all these models, and then I did a comparative analysis to be sure which model was actually performing, that was having like a constant accuracy across all the training. And for my analysis, I actually discovered that ResNet 50 was actually performing like it was giving me like a constant accuracy across all the training. It's an accuracy of 90%, even when after training the model, after fine-tuning the model, ResNet 50 was still maintaining that accuracy. So I can say that ResNet 50 performed well, and that's because of the residual connection, and then it allows it to manage deeper architecture model. So that's actually one of the reasons why ResNet 50 actually performed well. And then when it comes to LAM and SHARP, I also did a comparative analysis between LAM and SHARP to see which one I would actually suggest people use. And then from my analysis, I can see that when it comes to LAM is local, and then the explanation is instance-based explanation. So it's just within. And then when it comes to SHARP is global, and that's a constant explanation, and that's a consistent explanation. And then from my analysis, I was able to get a consistency score of 0.67, which shows that the explanation is always stable each time you run it. So I would really say that SHARP is actually very consistent, is reliable, and it has a dependable insight. You can actually depend on the explanation. You can actually like see like a lot of explanation. For example, when I was examining Vincent Vago self-portrait with bandage hair, the model actually focused on styles instead of subjects, attributes such as land, such as people, such as landscape. It was actually focusing on styles such as brushstroke, textures, and color pattern. And then normally as a forger, when I see the portrait, because it has an image with a bandage hair, I would actually like focus on the bandage hair because that's like the obvious element. But in this case, SHARP was not focusing on the obvious element. It was focusing on the non-obvious element that was actually like contributing to the model prediction, and it was focusing on attributes such as the styles, such as the colors, the brush strokes, and the textures, and which is actually making it to be like a consistent explanation. Like you can actually depend on the explanation. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for the detailed answer again. So what specific challenges did you face in your research, and how did you overcome them?
All right, thank you so much for that beautiful question. All right, I actually faced a lot of challenges, but I didn't give up. That's just it. So I didn't give up. So one of the challenges I actually faced is the first one is the limited time, and as you know, like master's research program, you have like a limited time to take the project. You don't have like a long time. So when I first started, I actually had a goal of because one of my objective was actually to assess and implement the 6 deep learning models that I've actually selected, and then also to use Lime and Sharp to examine and interpret the prediction. So this objective was actually like, it was actually like 2 objectives, but when you look at it, it's actually deeper. So because of the limited time, I could actually not like go through it. So what I did was that I got my data sets from Republic, that's from Kaggle. So I got my data set, and my data sets contain 50 classes. So that was actually like, yeah, that was actually much, 50 classes. So when I saw that, oh, I was having 50 classes, and then I saw that these 50 classes, the artists were having like different frequency. Like for example, in the 50 classes, Vincent Van Gogh artwork was actually like the highest, followed by Edgar Degas, followed by Pablo Picasso, followed by Francisco Goya, followed by Albert Durer, then followed by Pierre-Auguste Renoir. So these were like the top 6 artists. So when I saw that I was having like a lot of classes that like they were not balanced. So I already know that I'm going to like I'm going to fall into trouble. So what I did at the initial stage in order to settle the time problem and the class imbalance was that I actually reduced from 50 classes to 7 classes. Yeah. Now 50 to 7, problem is solved, right? No, the problem is not yet solved. So now reducing to 7 classes, I noticed that the 7 classes have multiple genre. Like they were not having just one genre, they were having multiple genre, and that was actually reducing my accuracy because it was actually confusing the model. It was causing ambiguity, and I didn't want that. So what I did again was to reduce the classes to just the first 6 classes with just one genre. So what I did was that I reduced from 50 to 7 and then to 6 classes with just one genre, just in order to just ensure that my classes were a little bit balanced, because at the earlier stage it was actually the classes with highest frequency was actually dominating the training, and I didn't want that. So that was how I was able to achieve one of the problems. And then another problem that I actually faced was my Sharp. My Sharp was computationally intensive, and then it was not compatible with TensorFlow. So what I did at that stage was to downgrade my TensorFlow in order to be able to use my Sharp. And then another problem I have is data augmentation. Yeah, when we talk about data augmentation usually like improve generalization, but in my own case, it didn't actually improve generalization because it actually like reduced accuracy. It didn't improve at all. It reduced accuracy, and that's due to distortion of key artistic features, because the data augmentation technique that I actually use are random flip, random rotation, random zoom, and random translation, and all these actually distorted my key artistic feature. So what I did in this case was instead of after I trained and then I applied data augmentation and I saw that it was actually reducing my accuracy, I took out data augmentation, that I can actually work on this later because of time. So then I went into fine-tuning my model, and some of the fine-tuning I did was by increasing the batch size, by increasing the number of epochs, by adjusting the loss function, of course, just to ensure that I have a good accuracy. Because yeah, my project is not just about the accuracy, but ensuring that after I've gotten the results, can I explain it? Can you explain what the prediction was actually is? Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Are you planning to take this experimentation any further to another data set just to cross-verify the results which you are coming up with this data set?
Yeah, so yeah, I plan on doing that because because of the limited time that I have, I could not like focus on, I couldn't go deeper. So what I plan on doing is that I'm planning on getting like a more diverse data set. Because this data set that I actually use, this 50 data set I got from Kaggle, didn't actually contain all the artists' work. So they were like, I was limited. So I plan on getting a diverse data set, and then when I get a diverse data set which will actually contain all the artists' work, I plan on applying more style preserving data augmentation technique such as cropping. Cropping will actually not distort, or it will maintain the visual elements of the image, like brightness shifts instead of rotation, slight contrast adjustment. These will actually not affect the visual element. So I plan on doing that. Then I also plan on, once I have a diverse data set, I also plan on exploring other additional explainable AI tool such as brand cam, such as facial explanation, integrated gradients, and a whole lot more of explainable AI too. Then also, if I can get like a deeper data set, like a data set that is actually enlarged, it can actually help me. I can actually use it to actually build a robust AI tool that can help in art authentication, AI powered curation, and also it can even be integrated into educational museum apps. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're
so
welcome.
this conversation is going to be very technical for some people. So let's just focus on industrial part, since you just where you just left. Just start from there.
Okay.
So how do you think your project could impact real world problems or industries?
All right, thank you so much. My project has a practical implication for art authentication, digital archiving, and forgery detection. Combining accuracy with explainable AI, the AI will be able to support museums, will be able to support galleries, will be able to support collectors in verifying artwork origins. And then also in education, it's able to help students to understand artist styles. And then, the main focus of building AI with explainable AI is just to ensure that people can actually trust AI. Because especially in sensitive fields such as art, where accountability and transparency is very important. Like, we need to actually build an AI system with explainable AI too, so that at least once a model actually like predicts a result, you can get an explanation for it. It won't just be like, this is the result, but it will actually show you that this is the reason why this is coming out like this.
Thank you very much. Since you already discussed your results, your findings, but a question again to reflect on those. Any surprising findings throughout your project?
Okay, so I had a lot of surprising finding. Like, I was just surprised. But let me just share a few of them. So the first one was because what I did at the beginning was I worked on 6 models, like I said. So I did a comparative analysis to know which one was actually the best performing model. And then my best performing model was ResNet 50. It was achieving an accuracy of 90%, and that was like another surprising finding. And like I said, it's actually due to its residual connection that allows it to manage deeper architecture model. And then another surprising finding was data augmentation. Data augmentation usually improve generalization, but in my own case, it didn't actually improve generalization. It reduced my accuracy, and that's because it's likely due to distortion of key artistic features. So like, it was actually due to the technique that I actually make use of, and that's like translation, zooming, flipping, and rotation. Another surprising finding I was able to get from working on this project is fine-tuning. Fine-tuning actually improved my accuracy. It actually improved my accuracy, because earlier on I actually started training with 50 classes, like I said, and I moved on to 7 classes, and then I moved on to 6 classes, working on artists with just one genre by removing Paul Gauguin, because Paul Gauguin has 2 genres. So I had to remove him and then work on just like artists with one genre. So I was able to find out that fine-tuning like improved my accuracy across all the model. And then ResNet 50 was still topping. Now when it now comes to explainable AI too, explainable AI too actually surprised me. And using Lime and Sharp, I did a comparative analysis to actually know which one is actually reliable that we can always use. Then I found out that Sharp is actually like very good. Sharp is constant, it has a global explanation, and then its results are dependable, and that can be seen from the consistency score of 0.67 compared to the fidelity score of 0.4 of Lime that I got. And then another thing that actually surprised me was when I was examining Vicente Van Gogh self-portrait with bandage hair. Like I said, the model focused on style rather than subject attributes. Now, if you look at this image here, you can see that the obvious element that we can see in this artwork is the rock and the water. But when it comes to explainable AI will actually go deeper to actually know the reason why the model is actually predicting this artwork as belonging to one artist or the other. So it's to look at the styles, such as the colors, the textures, to look at the composition of how the brush is being moved, instead of focusing on obvious element that even a forger, even me that I can't draw anything. Like when I see this artwork, I'll just be like, oh, the first element is bed. Then when I want to like try and copyright this artwork, I'll just focus on ensuring that the bed is actually visible. But that is not what Explainable AI Sharp is doing. It's actually going deeper. It's showing a less obvious element that will actually like ensure that it will even ensure the integrity of the artist that owns the artwork, which is actually a good one. Yeah.
Thank you very much for another in-depth explanation of your project. I can say that you are at a very good level of providing details related to your project. So considering this, what advice would you give to the future master students working on the similar topics?
All right, thank you so much. So the advice I'm going to be giving to my colleagues that would like to work on this project is, firstly, you have to start with a research goal. Like, you cannot just start a research. You need to have a goal. And the reason why you need to have a goal is because these goals are what will actually like guide you all through your research. Because at one moment, like, you might face challenges, you might face difficulty, your code might not be running, and then you might have to like start all over again. You might get error while running your code. You might face a lot of maybe the data sets not getting balanced and all that. But if you have a clear goal, if you have like an inspiration, if you have like a motivation that is actually guiding you, it actually help you all through the research. Because anytime you try to fall, once you remember your goal, this is the reason why I'm doing this, because I want to like explain this, because I want the prediction to be explainable. Oh yeah, I cannot just leave that goal. So firstly, have a clear goal. Then another thing is that you need to understand the limitation and strength of Explainable AI tool, because Explainable AI tool are actually like deeper, more than it's not just about sharp and line. You need to understand the limitation of sharp. You need to understand the strength of sharp. You need to understand the limitation of line, and then you need to understand the limitation of line. The limitation of sharp and line, so that you will be able to understand that this is how these two work, and then this is not how they work. Another thing is that before you start, use a smaller and cleaner data set to test the concept before scaling. Don't just go for a large data set. You need to first, so like what I did, I started with 50 classes, and then I was having like a low accuracy, so I had to like reduce my classes to 6, so that at least I can have like a good result, and then I'll be able to work on diverse data sets. And then another thing is that do not underestimate the power of interpretability. When it comes to interpretability, you cannot just guess and say this is what is going to happen. No, it's just like me putting this artwork into my model. Yeah, when my Explainable AI tool want to like evaluate this artwork, it's not just like focus on obvious elements that you can see, to actually go deeper by checking the styles, by checking the textures, by checking the brush stroke, which will give us like a constant and consistent explanation. So do not underestimate the power of interpretability, because interpretability is actually like it's a strong word. Yeah, it's a strong word. Yeah, it's strong, because like you can have a result, but explainability will actually like explain the reason why yes you are having these results. Then lastly, ensure that you document all through your research. Anything you are doing, document, because it actually helps you with debugging and to make your work easier. And then when you are writing your report, to make it easier. And then probably maybe you are facing one challenge or the other, if you go back to your documents that you've already documented down, you'll be able to like, oh, I did this. Because when I started, I worked with 50 artists, I documented it down. When I went to 7 artists, I documented it down. Then when I got AI accuracy, I documented it down. When I was trying to compare, I documented it down, because it actually help you to know that okay, this is where I'm lacking behind, this is what I'm getting, this is what I'm not getting, this is what I've noted down, this is what I have to go back to. So, and then lastly, don't give up no matter what, because if you give up, that means you have messed up, and for you not to mess up, don't give up. Because there is this saying from this my country that if you give up, you have messed up. Like, it's just like a Yoruba adage, which I'm not going to say. So it's just like, when you give up, you've messed up. And then for you not to mess up, please don't give up no matter what, because you already have a clear research goal. So this goal should keep you going. This motivation should keep you going. If it's possible, have a sticky note. Put it on top of your laptop as you're working, on top of your system as you're working on the research. Just be checking it. This is the reason why I'm doing this project. This is why I'm doing this, and this is why I'm not doing this. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. I quite like the way you explain your answers. They are in depth. So if anybody wants to adopt them, definitely they can.
Yeah.
So while answering to this question, you mentioned that it's very important to keep note of your goals at the beginning. So what exact goals you had, or what objectives you to define at the beginning of this project, and how you achieved those?
Okay, so I had two objectives at the beginning of my project, at the beginning of my research, and one of these objectives is to assess and implement my select deep learning model. And then the deep learning model that I use, like I said, I'm still going to like name them. They are 6 pre-trained convolutional neural network model, and they are ResNet 50, BGG 19. I use Exception, I use Inception version 3. I use a mobile net version 2, and then I use DenseNet 121. And then in assessing and implementing them, I was able to assess them through through recall, precision, accuracy, and F1 score. And then secondly, my second objective was to use explainable AI tool such as Lime and Sharp to examine and interpret the prediction. So after my model has made a prediction, I applied Lime and Sharp to actually like explain the reason why this model is actually saying that this feature is the one that is contributing to this prediction. So that was how I was able to like. So what I did was, at the beginning I have an objective, and then at the end I was like, have I been able to like meet my objective? At the beginning, oh yeah, these were my objective. At the end, did I meet my objective? And yes, of course I met my objective, because I was able to discover that when art meets artificial intelligence, accuracy will classify the image, but explainability on the other hand will actually reveal the story behind it. Yeah. Then the model will actually give it a name. It will tell you this painting belongs to Vincent Van Gogh, but it won't tell you why. And that is where explainability will come. It will reveal that story behind it. It will tell you why Vincent Van Gogh artwork is Vincent Van Gogh artwork. It will tell you why Juliet artwork is Juliet artwork. So that's how I was able to do that.
How has working on this project shaped your future career aspirations in data science?
Okay, this project has actually deepened my interest in explainable AI and its application in the high-stake domain. It has actually taught me that responsible AI is not just about building powerful model. It's actually about making them more transparent and making them more trustworthy. And I see myself now pursuing a career in ethical AI, such as sectors such as healthcare, transport, education, where transparency and human trust in AI is actually critical. And my current role at NHS, I work as a face-based testing support worker, has actually reinforced this. I work with a photocount machine with TSI web app, and what it does is that it helps to ensure that the respiratory masks that the staff is actually wearing fit properly. So what this machine does is that it doesn't just give you a pass or fail. It doesn't just tell you that, oh yeah, you can use this mask. It doesn't just tell you that you can't use this mask. It actually like explains the reason why the mask is a good fit for you. And this is based on real-time particle measurements. And then, as you know, when you're putting on a mask and you're going into an hazardous area, if you can breathe in anything from that area, it's actually like very bad to you, because you are breathing it into your lung, and you can also even transfer it to another patient. So what this machine does is that it counts the particles that we have in the environment, and then it also checks the particles that are entering into the mask. And then you know that if the mask is a proper mask, if you are wearing a mask that is a proper mask, any particles that is being generated in the environment is not supposed to enter the mask. It's just supposed to be outside. So now what this machine will do is that it will tell you that they've actually failed because the mask can actually like the particles in the environment is actually being generated into the mask. And that is what explainable AI is doing. Like, yeah, you can make the prediction and then it will give you the results. So when frontline staff comes, it will give them the result, and then it will also tell them that this is the reason why it's giving them this result, and then they can always go back to their department, and then we'll be rest assured that our frontline staff in healthcare sector are actually being protected from inhaling any hazardous airborne contaminated like item into their lungs. Now also my experience has also made me to be passionate about transport sector, and that's DVLA in particular. Yeah, because right now I actually want to like design an AI tool integrated with explainable AI that will help to objectively analyze drivers' learners' assessment instead of the subjective opinion of the instructor. So let me just expatiate on that. Now, we have a lot of good drivers in UK. Yeah, we have a lot of good drivers, and then when they go for driving tests, they actually fail. Yeah, they fail. Yeah, and then sometimes we can say, okay, maybe they're a bad driver, but what about the good drivers? They are still failing, and that's because their result is based on subjective opinion of their instructor. There is no proof that they actually made a mistake, because we are two different people. Let me give you an instance. I might be driving from a straight road going to a roundabout, and probably before reaching the roundabout, I already checked my blind spots, I already checked the roundabout, I checked my left, and I see that it is clear. In my mind, I've said clear and I'm good to go. At that moment of me saying clear, the instructor might actually be recording, or the instructor might be looking at the left when I'm looking at the right. And then when it is clear on my side, by the time the instructor will look at that side, maybe another car must have pop up, and then the instructor will be like, you failed because you didn't do the right side observation, which is actually subjective. And then sometimes it might be the instructor is angry, or maybe it might just be the instructor is not just in a good mood and just feel like anything you do, no matter what you do, you still have to fail. But if you have an AI tool that can be integrated into an explainable AI, like what tripod is doing now, there's a tripod that when you put the tripod in your front, as you're moving, to be moving with you, as you're going to be moving with you. So this can be integrated into practical driving, that whenever you're going for your driving test, there will be an AI tool in the car. When you're trying to look left, when you're signaling, when you know signal or time, it's to dictate it. And then at the end of the day, the result will be you have failed because of this. And then there will actually be a full explanation. There will be a reason why you have failed. It's not just be a subjective opinion that the instructor is telling me that I failed because I didn't look at the right side. So now, in integrating this explainable AI into transport sector, is actually going to help to justify decision, and then it's going to reduce biases, a lot of them. And then also the last one is that it's going to make people to actually trust the driver's assessment. To not just be I failed because my instructor failed me because of right observation. It should be I failed because of this. And then they won't be able to fight the system. The other day I followed my friend, and then she was failed because our instructor said she was not looking at the right side. And of course she actually did, because I was in the car at the back. Actually did, but the time she was looking, the instructor was busy recording. And then by the time the instructor would look up, the instructor was like, you didn't check your right blind spot. And then she was failed with one driving fault. Yeah, so she was actually given one major fault and one driving fault. And that's a good driver, because she has just one driving fault. And then the major fault was I can say that it's as a result of the negligence from the instructor. But if you have an AI tool that is integrated with explainable AI, we won't have a problem. We won't have to start saying that I don't trust what the instructor is saying. It's going to be a good one. So these experiences and explainable AI has shown me that AI should not just work, it should explain itself. AI should just not just classify or probably give us an accurate classification. You should actually be able to explain the reason why it is giving that prediction. It shouldn't just classify my artwork and give me the results.
Answers.
Yeah, it should actually I should actually be able to know the explanation behind it. I should be able to know the story behind it. So I'm actually committed to contributing to this vision in real world system. Yeah.
So you have already mentioned, what additional areas would you explore in your future? If you could further reflect some light on that again.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So the additional things I'll be doing on my project, and because of the limited time, I couldn't do a lot of things. So some of the additional things that I would actually be doing is number one is I would be exploring additional data augmentation, style preserving data augmentation technique. And the reason why I said style preserving was because the augmentation technique that I actually use actually distorted key artistic styles. So I would actually be focusing on style preserving augmentation technique, such as brightness shift, such as cropping, such as contrast adjustment, just a slight contrast adjustment, a slight brightness adjustment also. Then slight minimal color jitters, and then ensuring that my images are not disrupted, ensuring that the main styles are still intact, maintaining that visual element is still intact. And then another thing I'll be doing is exploring cross-genre artist classification. And then by exploring cross-genre artist classification means that I'll be exploring artists that have more than one genre, that have definitely like 2 or 3 genre, because of the time constraint, and then because it was actually giving me a low accuracy, which I was trying to reduce ambiguity. I had to like reduce my classes from 50 to 6. So now I don't mind actually working on more diverse data sets that has all the artists' work and then also contain more than one genre, so that I'll be able to generalize that, oh yeah, explainable AI can actually explain this. And then lastly, I also don't mind working on integrating multimodal analysis. That's by combining image data and textual descriptions from maybe catalog and museum, because this will actually give us like a richer context for classification and explanation. Then also I would also like to like explore more additional explainable AI tool. Yeah, because Lime and Sharp is not the only explainable AI tool. We have other ones, so I would like to like explore more, such as Grand Cam, counterfactual explanation, deep learning, deep lift, and then like integrated gradients, and a whole lot more of explainable AI tool. There are a whole lot more. I would really like to like explore more on it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Another detailed answer. You must be tired now. So just to conclude, moving towards the last question, since I understand that you have quite in-depth knowledge about the field you were working on, do you think writing a research paper, or do you think moving towards a research career in your future?
Okay, yeah. So before I actually left my country, I actually wanted to be a lecturer. Yeah. So like I was discussing with one of my favorite lecturer, Dr. Mboli. I was telling him that I actually wanted to be a lecturer in my country, but because of the way the country is, and then due to some circumstances, I could not. And then by the time I was okay, as at that time, when I finished my BSc, I was told to do like an additional master's degree in order to be a graduate assistant. So I did that. And then when I tried to go back, it's like, oh yeah, I really want to be a lecturer, things changed. And then because I could not just wait, so that was why I traveled down to another country to actually explore more. So firstly, like I'm currently writing my research paper on artist classification with explainable AI with my supervisor, Dr. Bupesh and Dr. Ariet. I'm currently working on it. I'm currently working on the paper, and then also I would also like to go into more research into it, because this explainable AI has actually like deepened my interest in it. Like when I first started, I was like, artist classification, like what kind of topic is that? I was like, oh, how will I start? But now, like after working on it, it's actually like I'm now like more interested. It's not like every time I go out, every time I see an artwork, I'm always like, oh, this is a beautiful artwork. If I put it into my model, it's going to give me my results, but it's going to explain the reason why this artwork actually belongs to this person. So every time I go now, like when I go to like care homes and I see artwork on the wall, I'm always fascinated by it. On a normal day before, when I see artwork, I don't like look at it, but now like I look at it very well. And then when I go to work, like this is my current job, when I go there and I'm explaining to patients, I'm always very happy that at least they have a reason for that explanation. So I would really love to like go into research, like to go deeper into it. I don't mind like having like a PhD research on it to actually like go deeper into explainable AI and to uncover more things about explainable AI, artist classification, and how it can also be used in other fields, because it's not only being restricted within artist classification alone. You can also use it in other AI to an AI field, especially high-stake domain and sensitive fields such as arts, healthcare, transport, and all. Because in healthcare, if you go to a doctor and then a doctor is trying to check you, and then the machine is telling you that you have diarrhea, there should be an explanation. Why do I have diarrhea? So if there is no explainable AI, the patient will just go home and be like, that doctor said I have diarrhea, no explanation. But if there's actually like an explanation to the reason why the patient have diarrhea, like we as women, we are going to trust AI too. Like we can wake up early in the morning and be like, yeah, AI is actually working, because artificial intelligence is now the new it's now the new baby. Like yeah, it's a new baby because it's now like it's taking over everything that we have, and integrating it with explainable AI is going to like do a lot of things. Like there's going to be like a lot of discovery and a lot of things around it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. You have a very clear goal in your mind for your future. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
It was very nice conversation, and you are an asset for DAME. I think you have in-depth information related to your project, and that's really going to help if you are in contact with your supervisors. They are really knowledgeable persons. Dr. Harriet, you mentioned, Dr. Bhavesh.
Yeah.
They're both very knowledgeable, and I wish you all the best. And I hope with them you succeed and you write a research paper and you start a research journey from there.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for being here, and thank you very much for providing in-depth information. I would suggest you, if it's possible for you, while uploading the video, please mention your email address so that if future students they want to work with you or collaborate with you in the same research domain, you can guide them and do a collaboration. That would be really nice. Thanks again.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.
Hi, my name is Kevin Pimblett, and I'm the Director of the Centre of Excellence for Data Science, Artificial Intelligence and Modelling, otherwise known as DAME, here at the University of Hull. We run an MSc conversion course in Artificial Intelligence and Data Science here at the University of Hull. A conversion course takes in students from a wide variety of different backgrounds, not just STEM subjects, but arts and humanities and everything else in between. We upskill them in data science and artificial intelligence, and we do that through a series of bespoke modules, starting with Python programming in the first few weeks of trimester, leading into introductory materials in understanding artificial intelligence and the fundamentals of data science. We've just built a new building that you can see all around me. This is a £4.5 million investment by the University of Hull, and a strategic decision to invest in artificial intelligence and data science for the long term. Here at the University of Hull, we offer the full breadth of artificial intelligence and data science. We have elective options in a range of different subjects, from ethics right through to AI in healthcare, and a lot of others in between as well. We like to have our students on campus for one full day per week. That's from 9 AM right through to 6 PM. What this enables is for our students to manage their own time, so that if they have a job for which they might be going part-time, they can do it for the rest of the week, and therefore they can have that full day on campus learning and doing all the programming that they're required to do. There are a variety of reasons why our students choose the University of Hull as their first choice for an MSc conversion course. Not only do we upskill our students within the areas of AI and data science, but also locally this is one of the best regions in which to study. Here at the University of Hull, we offer the widest variety of different training courses in AI and data science. We also offer bursaries that our students are able to apply for, so if you are female, black, disabled, or from a low socioeconomic background, as might be judged from the higher rate of student loan, and you are a UK citizen, resident, or settled status, then please do consider joining us.